Bunch of cards came out since I was last live. Let's talk about this. The first one here is Sir Pumpkin's reveal. This is Monroe Brewis, an 11 provision point scoia'tael, 7 strength dwarf with 1 armor. On deploy, transform 2 allied rowdy dwarves into dwarf berserkers. Now, rowdy dwarves are tokens, 1 strength and 2 armor, I'm pretty sure is correct. Well, here, this is a card that spawns rowdy dwarves as well, the Dwarven Chariot, if you missed that. When we previewed Barricade, that's right, because it happened on the stream, on Challenger's stream. So the Dwarf Berserker is a much better card than the token. It's a 2 strength, 5 armor engine, basically, that uses its armor as ammunition. So it seems like it's a pretty cool card. Boy, it's expensive, 11 provisions for this effect. There could be a whole archetype built around these rowdy dwarves. So we'll have to see if this is going to be like a cool combo, because it's part of the triptych art. We know that there's 3 cards that are part of this art, so I imagine they all work together in some way. The Kikimor Queen. Who got the pleasure to reveal this one here? This was the Merchants of Novigrad podcast. This card is pretty good, I think. This is a new monsters card, another 11 provision point card. So another powerhouse, 11 provisions for a 5 strength insectoid with 2 armor. Thrive. Whenever the thrive of this unit is triggered, boost all allied insectoids on this row by 1. So every time you thrive this unit, everything thrives if it's an insectoid. It's cool because Caranthir allows you to put this down at 1 and it instantly thrives. So it instantly procs the effect. And then you also have the second Kikimor Queen in your hand still, which will come down and then thrive the weaker queen, which will then boost all the insectoids, including itself and including the other Kikimor Queen. So it just seems like a really strong combo with Caranthir, just alone. It's hard for me to get past. It's hard for me to see a better interaction with this card. It just seems like it's probably the least fair way to play this card, and that's probably good enough. 11 provisions is quite a lot, though. Next card revealed here. Let's make sure we get the credit where credit is due. ESC. Yes, the European Gwent League, I believe. I know the people there. They're good people. Revealing a new Syndicate special card, Assault. 4 provision point crime. Damage an enemy unit by 4. If you control 2 salamander units, damage it by 6 instead. So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty hefty ping at 4. We've seen some salamander units. We've seen enough that they seem like, decent, I guess. Like, the mutant killer, the mutant assassin, I think it's actually the official reveal name for it. I don't know if it's been added to this imager, because I think it wasn't in it before, and it still isn't. But we've seen the mutated hounds. We haven't seen a lot yet for Syndicate. Syndicate's probably seen the fewest reveals. I think they, we'll see. It seems like they have something going on, though. A little bit of poison here, a little bit of bleeding there, a little bit of damage and horde here, a little bit of barricade there, I think. And now it's looking like they're just going to be much more control-based, and maybe if you don't want to spend coins, you don't have to always do coin stuff. I think it's a pretty good damage option at 4. Every faction looks like they're getting a damage option of 4 that's like 4 for 4, kind of, right? Would you run them instead of other good SY cards? Well, the other good SY cards all work together usually. Like, Chorus Blacksmith. You have Fury Spender. Witch Hunter Executioner is probably an example of a card that would switch out if you wanted to switch out your crimes, because maybe you don't want to run Slander and Witch Hunter Executioner. But, Purify is going to be everywhere. Maybe Bounty isn't going to be that strong. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Another Depressed Pleb. The Highwayman, revealed by Baby Jossus. A neutral card, 4 provisions for a 3 strength human bandit with 1 armor. On deploy, damage an enemy unit by 1. If it has armor, damage it by 3 instead. Another conditional high ping. This card seems fine, but I don't think that this is the anti-armor tech that people would just be running. Because it doesn't seem like it's going to kill anything. It's going to get you damage value on something that has armor, which is probably going to be blocked by at least 1 or 2, so it's not going to kill anything unless it's an armored thing that's really weak, and those cards could be around. This card could be a solution for a card that's like incredibly weak with a lot of armor. I guess those situations can present themselves, so in a situation like that, you might want this as a tech of some kind, but maybe just 1. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to get enough value, considering how good some of the 4 provision point cards are. It seems to make a lot of sense as a neutral. So for that, I am happy because the Iron Falcon Footman seemed pretty good for a neutral if you were running armor stuff, but this one does not. So I would say it seems like a finely costed, very average neutral card. So wildcard.pro got to reveal the Wagenberg. Let's take a look at the Wagenberg, a Thronebreaker special. Only 5 provisions and not like 13 like it is in Thronebreaker. Anyway, 5 provisions for another neutral card. 3 strength machine with 3 armor, barricade, at the end of every allied turn, which is the turn you play it, give 1 armor to adjacent units. So it will proc when you play it. So basically, if you look, it's interesting, right? Armor is going to have a conversion rate in points depending on how you can make use of it, very much like coins in Syndicate. Unlike coins in Syndicate, every faction can use these, and every faction can interact with it. So the value of armor is going to be probably, you're going to be able to dissect it in so many different ways. Protecting engines, basically stopping something, raising the threshold from something that would otherwise die, giving you the value of its survival without actually giving you the value of it in points. So I think it's actually, I mean, these cards are starting to look more like they have 2 stats on them, right? Power toughness, like it looks like these are like the cards that most card games have, power toughness. I think it's just going to be a new way of parsing this value that armor is going to give. I don't know, this card probably seems like it's going to see play in an armor-based deck because it's armoring up everything, it's protecting immediately. Because it has to protect stuff already on the board, that in itself makes it slower, and these cards have been kind of looked at through GWENT's history as just not really being able to be viable because they're too slow. Northern Realms had to be sped up a bit to be viable. So it could just be slow, but, you know, it's a neutral card. So you got to just take what you get, I think, here. I think that this is an effect that it would be too bad if it was given to only one faction. And it would also be too bad if every faction got 5 samey cards that did this. So it's cool. I'm glad that an effect of giving armor to adjacents is in the game. And this is the card that does it. Right on. So this card's pretty interesting, right, Igurn? This card's awesome. This is Igurn. This is revealed by Ocean Mud. This is a 10 provision point, 13 strength insectoid. It's got those Tibor stats with a different drawback here. On deploy, gain armor to the number of cards in your hand. If this unit has no armor, destroy self. So, that's a lockable effect. So doesn't this card just need to survive for a turn if you want it to kind of shut down the effect? Also, like, it's interesting because tall units for monsters are they're usually very vulnerable because they're boosted units sometimes. It's a giant Barbergazi, a giant K-Ran, a giant Slizzard, a giant Brewess, something that's consumed a ton of points. It's very vulnerable because you stacked all those points into one unit. Well, Igurn kind of is like that, baked into one card right away. It's already a bunch of points stacked into one unit, but also has a vulnerability about it that can be exploited, much like these tall units that are boosted. So for that reason, I don't think this card is going to be exceedingly strong. However, large units have always been Monster's favorite thing, and they've really wanted to find ways to run Old Spear Tip just because it makes your final play Osrel that much better. And things like Pugo Boombreaker are awesome because they're really low provision point, 10 strength units, so you don't have to actually put these bad units into your deck to get this graveyard value or this great consume value, or even from hand consume. Remember that Weavis Incantation is still a card I quite like, because remember, there is a Caldwell meta, and I didn't like playing Caldwell all the time, so that card actually gave you Caldwell value and graveyard value right away. I think that this card is going to give monsters an edge in late game and end round, something that they've never really needed help with before. Like, this card is not going to be game breaking. It's not going to do things for monsters that monsters haven't already had the opportunity to do. However, in the vein of what this card is trying to do and what it enables monsters to do, it definitely does it very well. I would say it does it above average. You say, like, this is better than Goliath. A lot better than Goliath, right? Is it, though? I mean, it is. But is it, though? I think it's good. It's a good card, right? I think there's a lot of discussion to have around this card, and I'm going to move on. But this is probably the most interesting card you're going to see today until you see my card, baby. Last card we're going to talk about before we reveal Razor Ramon. My card Let's talk about the Redanian Archers. This card was revealed by Julian Alfred Pancrans, Viscount de Lettenhove. Boy, how you like that? The Redanian Archers, it's just his real name, right? The Dandelion Show. Oh, right. No, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because the T-pose. This is how he revealed the card. He found some glitched Witcher thing of like the Redanian Archers, and it has the flags in the background and everything. How good is this? Medieval 2 Total War model would pay for this alternate artwork. Dark Souls 1? Okay, anyway, guys. Redanian Archers. New card for Northern Realms. 5 provisions for a 3 strength human soldier with 2 armor. Zeal. So he's got an order. Damage an enemy unit by 1. This is probably my most mumbled sentence in my life. Damage an enemy unit by 1. Damage an enemy unit by 1. Charge 1. Barricade at the end of every allied turn, gain 1 charge, so the turn you play it. So this card seems pretty good. It's not too unlike Reinforced Ballista. It's an engine that protects it. Like, it's hard to get rid of this guy, but it's not as hard. So here's an example of where the Highwaymen would be fine, because the Highwaymen would damage this unit by 2 and remove the armor, obviously. So, you know, it disables the engine effect to this card. However, the engine effect is not so much disabled because you could just put the armor back on it. Also, you could just give it a charge. So it's just, if you're running add-ups, just a card that accepts those charges. So probably good enough to run. If you have cards like the Wagenburg or anything that gives armor, or there's more Northern Realms cards that give armor or protect, it just makes these guys a threat. However, the cool thing is when this thing procs, the Barricade, you can't spend the charge right away. That keeps this card from being super good. Like, imagine it got a charge every time you gave armor to it. Whew, that'd be too good, right? So I think this card is pretty balanced. I don't think it's much better than like the Citron Spellweaver. The Citron Spellweaver has like, gets a charge whenever you play the charge giver in the adept. Like, that card's better than this, right? But it depends, right? In a vacuum, I'm looking at it like this. In a world where there's more armor going around, obviously there's just going to be, you know, this card's going to have more application, maybe get more value. It's going to be hard to kill. That's probably going to be the biggest selling point, right? All right. Swears targets everywhere. Yeah, it's true. You guys ready to see my card? Presenting everybody Ramon Tyrconnel, a Northern Realms card being presented by your Northern Realms ambassador. Finally. And it's a good one, too. This is Ramon Tyrconnel, a 10 provision point, 4 strength soldier. On deploy, spawn and play a base copy of a bronze soldier from your hand and give it 2 armor. He looks super Nilfgaard though, right? Interesting artwork for a Northern Realms card. But here's the thing, maybe this guy is kind of all about paying that iron price. Yeah, maybe stolen armor, Ojats. Maybe he pays that iron price. Okay, you guys do see the blue diamond, right? You guys do see what I was told here. But hold on, the wiki, however, a young Nilfgaardian colonel fought and died in the Battle of Brenna, and he's the leader from the division that all Nilfgaardian cards come from. He's wearing Nilfgaardian armor, and these aren't the Temerian symbols, these are the birds? Oh, this is a tough one, guys. Well, now I'm very hesitant to cut this without the actual answer. Put it on YouTube and let people guess? No. This mystery needs to be solved before. Vote in the comments, like and subscribe, and hit that bell, baby. What faction does this card? I mean, this is easily the most controversial card ever revealed in the history of Gwent, right? They gave me this moment, didn't they? Thank you, CDPR, for the most controversial Gwent card ever revealed. An absolute betrayal. Top 10 anime betrayals. McBeard has had it. 3 years relationship with CDPR at risk. Clickbait it. Clickbait. McBeard can't believe it. It's another Vreemed leader moment. Hey, at least this isn't in the game, right? Can you imagine Northern Realms just gets one of Nilfgaard's best cards? And Nilfgaard gets one less card in the expansion? I get to reveal the first ever Gwent bug before it even hits the live servers. So let's just pretend this is Nilfgaard, obviously. Let's pretend this is Nilfgaard. So Hooray for Nilfgaard. You guys got a really great card that's finally going to enable spies, right? Let's just switch gears, obviously, because the first card you think of immediately, let's say, is Emperor Enforcer. It's Emperor Enforcer, right? So you get to armor up your spy engine and protect it. You probably play Operator because you kind of want your Duchess Informant to load your Enforcers while you're playing it. Sorry, this is off the top of my head right now. I didn't really theory this. I theoried this. Oh, boy. I obviously theoried this as a soldier for Crew Pocket, Temerian Drummer, Engine Overload. You know, basically just reinforcing Northern Realms Engine Overload. It's not doing anything new. Kind of like it was going to go all the way how I discussed Igern, is like not doing anything new, but doing something really good that Northern Realms wants it to do, but better. Darylin, why? You spawn in base of base. Oh, because you get to play 4 Darylins. Yeah, Soldier Nilfgaard is really good with that. That is really good. Yeah, I just immediately thought about protecting the engines that, you know, spies, right? Help me, spy engines. Give my Empresa Enforcers some armor. And I just look at it like, I mean, obviously, Darylin, that's obviously really good too, but this is also good. We got to go into Photoshop and we got to edit this card. We're in Photoshop here, so this is really easy. We'll just do this. We'll go into, let's just go into adjustments. We'll go to hue saturation. We'll target the blues. And we will remove all the saturation from the blues, which will make all the blues gray. And I don't know. I think that's all we have to do to make this a Nilfgaard card. This is the situation that we have at the moment. This is Ramon Tyrconnel, which is definitely a... Oh, boy. What's wrong with this picture? Oh, man. I feel a little bad. I feel like I should be better. I should have noticed it. I got pranked. How about this? Is this good here? Are we happy with this here? Iron Judgment question mark? I don't want the question mark to be part of the... There we go. That's good. Iron Judgment? I'm Ron Burgundy. Before we start the stream, I just want to make sure, hold on, I gotta make sure you guys can see. Okay. You guys can see my shirt. Okay. Just gotta make sure. Just before we start the stream, I just want to do what I do at the beginning of every stream. I do this every stream. Just thank the Emperor. I mean, how can you just not praise to the great sun, right? How can you just not? I mean, it's in the sky. It's right there. You know, it's all, you know, unlike all these other things that you say prayers to, you know, they're not there. The sun's right there. You can see it. Hail to the Emperor. Of course, I am talking about His Majesty, His Imperial Majesty Emhirvar Emrys Deathwin Aden In Cairn Ep Morvud, the white flame dancing on the graves of his foes. That's who I'm talking about. Take a look at my daily quest. No way. What is this? If any of it was constructed, tip of the cap, my friends. Tip of the cap, CDPR for the best debate ever. I am pranked. Hilarious.